I suppose we're in the video, my babe. Yeah, I suppose we're in the video, my babe. We're going to talk about today what constitutes a healthy relationship. There's no loyalty, there's no trust, and it's unhealthy. I respect where you are coming from with this, and I'm choosing to approach it from a place of self-awareness in how I respond to you, but I'm also choosing to approach it from a place of understanding. You look at the relationship with confidence and security and not necessarily doubt and suspicion. You need to be able to validate that person's feelings and experiences of you, and they need to be able to do it in return. In healthy relationships, boundaries are communicated, apologized with changed behavior. Apologize with changed behavior. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. It is me, it is Katleho. So we're back. So this is a Just 10 with Kat, and in this one we're going to be talking about establishing healthy relationships, whether you are establishing them with your friends, your family, your intimate partners. There are so many things that are cornerstones to establishing good and healthy relationships, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So thank you so much for being here. As always, thank you for choosing me over and over and over again. I'm trying to do this new thing this year with all my videos where I'm going to be chilling. If we're not laughing, we're going to be chilling, but we're going to be having true, authentic, and very important conversations. So there is going to be a slight change in my videos this year. You will see that a lot of the segments that I have are going to fall away. Except, of course, unpopular opinions. Of course, I know you guys love that. Some weekly vlogs here and there. But there's also going to be a lot of real talk segments where we talk about some of the things that are very prevalent in culture today, in society today, in pop culture today. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. But today, and you know how we make this video short. We try and make it as short as we can, right? Today we're going to talk about trying to cultivate healthy relationships with the people that are around you. What constitutes a healthy relationship, right? When we're sitting and thinking about all the kinds of engagements that we have with other people, what constitutes a healthy relationship? The reason why, I suppose we're in the video, my babe. Yeah, I suppose we're in the video, my babe. But one of the biggest reasons why this is a really important topic for me to discuss is the fact that there are so many toxic relationships out there that have been masqueraded as, because it looks like this, they truly love each other. But when you look at it, it's full of gaslighting and manipulation, and it's full of people disrespecting each other's boundaries. It's full of people not listening to the other person.
These are 6 relationship behaviors that we have been taught are cute and romantic through culture and media, but they're actually just toxic. On this account, I talk all things relationships for teens and young adults, so be sure to follow. Number 1, obsessively keeping tabs on your location and who you're talking to because they care about you so much. Number 2, super intense emotional highs and lows. Number 3, using physical intimacy as a way to resolve or fix conflicts. 4th one is feeling the need to be in constant communication and hanging out every possible minute. 5 is changing or ditching plans with other people so that you can spend more time with your significant other. Last one is buying a gift or doing something super sweet or romantic after a fight instead of actually apologizing and changing.
There's no loyalty, there's no trust, and it's unhealthy. And sometimes what society has done nowadays is that it's romanticized and glorified in some aspect or manner why this kind of relationship is meant to look or be or feel like it's a great relationship when there are so many red flags. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about today what constitutes a healthy relationship. And I am going to rapid fire. As you know, Just 10 with Kat is very short. So I'm going to rapid fire some of the key integral points that are necessary to develop, to grow, to enhance healthy relationships, not relationships that are based on purely love, but there are so many other things that are unhealthy about them and that are glaring red flags. So we're going to talk about the proper stuff, the real stuff that constitutes a healthy relationship. You ready? Let's get into it, okay? You know, a lot of you guys have talked about here in Ntate Are, and we're going to leave Ntate Are's issue to the very end of the video because I can see that a lot of you are bothered by Ntate Are. Where is Ntate Are? Who is Ntate Are? What is going on? We're going to leave that for the end of the video. The biggest one that's the most important for me is to have mutual respect for one another. Mutual respect for one another basically means we respect each other's boundaries, we respect each other's beliefs and value systems, and we know how to approach each other without making the other one feel somewhat smaller, or without making someone feel like they're not enough or feel like they're not doing enough. You know what I'm saying? So there must be a constant knowledge in the back of your mind with every kind of interaction that you have with anyone, right? That there must be a mutual respect that we have for one another. What is the point of engaging with somebody every day or every other day, dependent who this person is in your life? What is the point of engaging them if you cannot respect one another? If you cannot look at each other and say, you know what, I hear your chat, let me think about it. I respect where you are coming from with this, and I'm choosing to approach it from a place of self-awareness in how I respond to you, but I'm also choosing to approach it from a place of understanding. When you mutually respect one another, there must be an understanding. You know, it's just floating around you guys. It's floating around your relationship, friendship, family situation, but it's a sign that there is an understanding. I see you as much as you see me, and we may be different in the aspects that we bring different things to the relationship. We bring different personalities, we bring different attitudes, we bring different opinions to the relationship, but we genuinely still respect each other. We treat each other as we would treat any other person on the street. Well, provided provided you are somebody who just generally respects people. We treat each other as any other person on the street with a solid form of respect, even though we might know each other a little bit more deeply. The next big one is definitely trust. And I think trust is largely codependent on the fact that you feel secure enough to be able to trust that that person is who they say they are and that they align with their values and their belief system. So essentially, you look at the relationship with confidence and security and not necessarily doubt and suspicion. I feel like a lot of the time when trust is broken, what follows from that is doubt and suspicion. If somebody lies to you and they lie to you constantly over and over again, the next possible thing that's going to follow from that is doubt and suspicion in the eyes of the person who was lied to. If your friend betrays you and they do something that you never thought that they would do, all of that confidence and security that you had in them, all that confidence and security that you had in the connection that you have, the relationship you have, is largely going to be broken and replaced with doubt and suspicion. So when you do not trust that you are in a space where you can both trust each other, but where if you do not trust that you are in a place where you feel confident and secure with that person and their values in terms of trust, then a large part of the time you will feel suspicious of their behaviors. This aligns a lot with relationships that are intimate. If that is broken, If that intimacy is broken and the trust is broken, it changes fundamentally everything at its core. And trust doesn't need to necessarily be broken due to betrayal or due to cheating or due to something substantially bigger, the typical things that we know about. Trust can be broken when someone constantly disrespects your boundaries and breaks them. Trust can be broken when somebody constantly lies to you and they do not show any form of, changed behavior. Trust can be broken in many more ways than just the standard, oh, they betrayed you by cheating, or they betrayed you by, whatever else it may be. So there's so many other things that break trust outside of those things. And I think it's something that we need to be aware of and constantly remember. I'm trying to silence my phone, child, okay? It could mean that they are, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's something that we generally do need to be aware of when we are engaging with other people. How much can you say you trust those that are in your small circle, your close friends, your partners, your family members? Can you actually unequivocally say you trust them with your life? I don't know. Can you actually say you trust them with your life? And if trust has been broken by somebody that you care about or somebody that can't necessarily be out of your life completely, like maybe a family member, how do you begin to rebuild that trust? Where do you start? This is a very obvious one, is communication. Can you actually talk to the person that is around you and you are engaging with, that you're in a relationship with and all of that, without a sense of fear or judgment? Are you afraid to speak to them? When you think about every single time that you have to share your emotions or feelings about a certain encounter that you may have had with that person, can you actually say that you are comfortable enough to share that without any form of fear or judgment from the person that you care about? So with regards to communication, one of the big things is that you need to be able to validate that person's feelings and experiences of you, and they need to be able to do it in return. So a very key big part of communication is the fact that, do you feel safe enough to speak and communicate your feelings with that person without any fear of being judged? When you speak to someone and you engaging them and all of that, do you find yourself at a place where you are worried about how they are receiving you or what they are receiving with regards to what you are saying? Do they feel attacked? Do they feel like every single time you engage them, they feel attacked, or they have like a victim mentality? That does not constitute a healthy relationship, whether it may be with your friend or your family member or even an intimate partner. You need to be able to form a space where you both can have a moment where you can be honest, truthful with each other without fearing that the moment this conversation ends, that relationship is over or that relationship has now met its end. You shouldn't have to worry about things like that in a healthy relationship. There must be space for each other. That's something that Adi told me. There must be space for each other. There must be a moment where you can both engage each other, even in times of conflict and not being able to see eye to eye. You need to be able to engage each other without feeling like this might then constitute the end all and be all of your communication, your engagement, or your relationship, or it might fundamentally change your relationship. I think one of the biggest things that constitutes a healthy relationship is that you can have an argument today. And everybody's allowed to be mad and angry and upset and all of that. But you can have an argument today and maybe take some time apart, breathe it out a little bit for like a couple of hours, maybe half the day, whatever it may be. But then be able to come back to each other and have a good sense of communication and talk about what has just happened, while at the same time hearing out the other person in terms of how they felt about it, how it impacted them, how it made them feel, and all of that. I think you guys might realize that when I'm talking about something serious, I talk a lot slower because I feel like there is an importance to these kinds of videos, and I want you to share them. I want you to share them with whoever you feel might need to hear this kind of communication. Share it with anybody you feel comfortable, okay? Another huge thing, and this is something I've spoken about in the Just 10 with Kat, boundaries. Healthy relationships have boundaries. They have physical boundaries, they have emotional boundaries, they have verbal boundaries, they have all sorts of kinds of boundaries, right? There must be an understanding. It communicates what will be tolerated and what won't be tolerated at no exception. It will not be tolerated. Boundaries essentially means that these are my edges and I do not expect you to go over this. Creating boundaries is you being respectful to yourself and communicating effectively what will fly for you and what won't fly for you to the other person. So no matter what your boundaries are, you can have boundaries at work, you can have boundaries in your intimate relationships. For instance, I do not like it when you talk to me this way. When we engage each other in an argument, you are not going to drop F-bombs. That's not going to fly with me. We are not going to swear at each other. We're not going to belittle each other. We're not going to make each other feel small. Do you know what I'm saying? I do not like that. That is a trigger point for me. The moment you start doing something like that, I'm out. I'm disengaging. I do not want to listen to it anymore. Do not do that. Intimate relationships have physical boundaries as well. So it's not just the intimate relationships, it's the personal, the friends, the family members. It's a bunch of people that are in your life where you have physical boundaries. I do not like being held or hugged or touched a particular way. I do not like sharing my bed, my intimate space. Just because you're my friend, I just don't like sharing that. It is what it is. That's a boundary. You're communicating to the person that is around you a boundary that they should respect. In healthy relationships, boundaries are communicated. I don't like it when you raise your voice at me, which is something that I recently discovered about myself, is that when I'm upset and angry and all of that, I talk very quickly and I'm loud. And I was told that I do not like it when you communicate like this with me. And I've had to reel myself back in. I mean, I may have had moments where I stumbled and I reverted back to how I normally act. But now I'm very well aware that once I feel the tension rising or the conversation getting heated, I need to calm the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? So take note of when people communicate their boundaries to you. It is not for you, it's for them. And then after that, it's for the safe and healthy space of the relationship, no matter what the relationship may be. Let's say I have a question for you. What is a healthy boundary that you will not tolerate it being broken to constitute a healthy relationship? So what is a boundary, right? So what is a boundary that you have that you will not tolerate being broken for the sake of having a healthy relationship? I think the last one that I will add is accountability. And this largely goes with being self-aware. When you're self-aware, you know that you need to hold yourself accountable for the role that you play in your engagement with others. Whatever it may be, right? You need to be accountable. If you cannot even acknowledge the fact that you hurt that person, or that person may have felt some type of way because of your behavior, if you cannot even acknowledge that, how are you being accountable? And acknowledging it simply, purely means saying, I'm aware that I did that to you. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'll change. Right? Apologize with changed behavior. apologize with changed behavior. You can't constantly be saying sorry. Meanwhile, there's no changed behavior. I'm not seeing any kind of changed behavior from you, sir. So how do I know that you're being sorry? Right? Or that you really mean it. So being accountable for your actions says that I am aware that this is what I did and how it impacted you. And I apologize for it. And I will be more aware going forward and check my behavior and my actions when it comes to something like this. Do you know how difficult it is to be in a relationship with somebody who is not accountable? They don't ever want to address the role that they played in the devastation of that friendship or that relationship. They don't ever want to address it. It's always you that is in the wrong. They will victim blame. They will, manipulate and gaslight. They will never address the role that they played in the dysfunction of that relationship. Do you know how difficult it is to maintain a healthy relationship with somebody like that? No. So you need to be able to be accountable. And when you are, it means you are self-aware. You're aware that the role that you play sometimes is hurtful to the next person, or the things that come out of your mouth, or the things that you do. And be aware of it and change your behavior. I think that's where I'm going to end it. I like these videos because I think it's a great way to just sit, chill, relax. In the wintertime, I'm going to have a blanket here. I'm going to have a nice little cushion here. We're going to make it cute. I'm planning on doing something with the wall behind me so we can make it even cuter. But we'll see how that goes. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Oh, yes. And finally, Tate Adi, guys, come on. Come on. Tate Adi is... I can't. Tate Adi is not my father. Tate Adi is not a current partner. Tate Adi is not... Tate Adi isn't Tate Adi, gents. Like... I don't know what more you want me to say. Tate Adi, it's a somebody. Not a partner, not a friend, not my dad, not a sibling who's a man or whatever. Tate Adi isn't Tate Adi. And all you need to know is that Tate Adi provides fantastic advice that we should always listen to. And if I find myself in conversations with Tate Adi, then and I share it with you, this is the moment where you need to pay attention. If I say that this is what Tate Adi said, this is the moment you need to pay attention, okay? That's all I'm saying. I hope you guys enjoyed this version of Just 10 with Kat, the real talk version. Let me know what else you would like me to speak about. I think these conversations are important, they're necessary, and I would really appreciate it if you could share it with somebody that you know. These conversations go a long way to making us better versions of ourselves, but also at the same time, they make us stand in our own truth and in our own power. They make us stronger. So I would love to know what you guys would like me to talk about. As always, thank you so much for choosing me over and over again. Until the next video, I will see you very, very, very soon. Until then, sayonara.